Hello and welcome to helpyourmath.com. In this video, we are going to go over question 10 of the Math 2 of 6.5 Final Exam Review. It asks us to use synthetic division to find all real solutions of x cubed minus 19x minus 30 equals 0. Notice that this is a cubic function and we are missing a variable term. So we'd like to have a variable term so that they go in decreasing order from the largest degree, which would be 3. We are missing that x squared term. This isn't a problem right now, but when we set up synthetic division, we do want to keep in mind that right in between the x cubed and the x, we are going to have a term that is 0x squared. So we just want to keep that 0 in mind. However, if we're going to set up synthetic division, we need a 0, and we don't have any. To find the possible rational zeros, we'll take the constant term, which in this case is negative 30, and we take all of the factors of negative 30, and we write them as fractions over all of the factors of the leading coefficient, which is 1. So we're looking at the factors of the constant, negative 30, and we divide them by all of the factors of the leading coefficient. And those would tell us the possible rational zeros. Now with these, we do use the positive or negative, so I just like to say, okay, the possible rational zeros will be plus or minus. And then what are the factors of negative 30? I'm just going to focus on the positive ones because we're going to deal with the signs when we put them inside the braces. 1 is a factor of 30, 2, 3, not 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. Whoa, that's a lot of factors. How about of the leading coefficient? The leading coefficient is positive 1. Positive 1, we have 1 and negative 1. And again, because we have that plus or minus, I can kind of ignore the signs. Oh, that's a relief. So we're only dividing by 1. If there had been any other factors, if it was 1 and 2, we would take each of the factors of the numerator and divide it by each of the possibilities from the denominator. But since it's just 1, it's going to be 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 3 over 1, 5 over 1, which will just be these factors of negative 30. So we have 1, positive or negative, positive or negative. We get the idea about that positive or negative. Just really want to emphasize it. I did put it in front, so. Okay, so how many possible rational zeros are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but then we double it so there are 16 because, right, we have the positive and negative cases. We just have to pick one, try it, and see. How do we know if one of these is an actual 0? Well, we would, when we do synthetic division, have a remainder of 0. From our list, let's choose one of the possible rational zeros and see if it works. I like just starting with 1 because it's a nice number to use and doesn't require too much brain power. When we set up our synthetic division, we're going to use the coefficients and the constant in order. So x cubed has a coefficient of 1, x squared is 0, x is minus 19, and our constant is negative 30. I bring down that first coefficient, that's just a 1. Now I multiply, 1 times 1 is 1. Add 1. Multiply, 1 times 1 is 1. Add, this would be negative 18. Multiply, negative 18. And I ended up with negative 48. If this was going to be an actual 0, this should have been 0. It's not. So I know that 1, while it was a possible rational 0, is not an actual 0. So we can take 1 off the list. And then we try again. What should we use next? How about 2? Good choice, Professor. Thanks. And we're just going to copy these numbers again. It's the same numbers that we're checking. And let's do this with 2. So we bring down the 1, we get 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, negative 19 plus 4 is negative 15, negative 15 times 2 is negative 30, oh, negative 60, that was so close though, wasn't it? So close, but 2 is not a 0, wah wah. I feel like because we did end up really close to what we were looking for, what if we tried negative 2? And again, we have 16 numbers to try, so I really hope we find one of them soon. If there's any. And if there's not any, we're in really big trouble. Okay, we're going to try this again. We're going to bring down the 1. We're going to multiply. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Bring down, or add, that would be negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. This will add up to negative 15. Aha, look at this. We end up with positive 30. Negative 30 plus positive 30 is 0. We've found ourselves a winner. We have a 0 of negative 2. Now let's look at the other factor. So the other factor is going to be 1 degree less than what we started with. So we are going to have x squared minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. This thing looks factorable. It looks gorgeous. So we're going to factor this. Target product is negative 15. Target sum is negative 2. That would be negative 5 and positive 3. Set each factor equal to 0. So we have x minus 5 is equal to 0. That means x is equal to 5. Set x plus 3 equal to 0. And that means x is negative 3. So how many zeros? There were 3 zeros. They were all real numbers. 3 was the maximum we were allowed to have because that was the degree of this polynomial. So let's write them all down again. We have x is equal to negative 3, negative 2, and positive 5. Notice that I use the braces here. The braces indicate discrete points, which is good. If you want to check your work, you can just plug those numbers in for x and make sure that you do get a true statement of 0 equals 0. This has been question 10. Thank you.